Did you know that Africa is not just the cradle of humanity but also the birthplace of some of the world's most advanced civilizations? From the earliest forms of writing to the rise of powerful empires, African history is a tapestry woven with innovation, resilience, and legacy. Let's start our journey where it all began. In Eastern Africa, specifically Ethiopia and Kenya, evidence confirms that Homo sapiens emerged around 300,000 years ago. Genetic and fossil records reveal that the first humans walked this land, making Africa the origin of humanity. Moving forward, we find the earliest known writing system in Africa, the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, developed around 3200 BC in the Nile Valley. These hieroglyphs were not just a form of communication but a foundation for modern writing systems. Fast forward to 500 BC, and we encounter the Nok culture in Nigeria, where iron smelting began, predating Europe's use of iron. This technological advancement laid the groundwork for future civilizations. Among these civilizations was the Kingdom of Kush, which ruled Egypt as the 25th dynasty from 747 to 656 BC. Kush's capital, Napata, was a center of power and culture. Another significant kingdom was Aksum in Ethiopia, which flourished from 100 BC to 940 C. Aksum controlled the Red Sea trade and adopted Christianity in 330 C under King Izona, making Ethiopia the first Christian nation in Africa. The Mali Empire, founded by Sundiata Keita in 1235, reached its peak under Musa, who ruled from 1312 to 1337. Musa's wealth from gold and salt trade was so immense that when he traveled to Mecca in 1324, he distributed so much gold in Cairo that it depressed gold prices for 12 years. Great Zimbabwe, built between 1100 and 1450 CE, housed around 10,000 people and was a center of gold trade. The Swahili city-states, such as Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar, were part of a vast Indian Ocean trade network by 1000 CE, linking Africa to China and India. Kilwa alone controlled 80% of East African gold trade. In the 14th to 16th centuries, Timbuktu in Mali was home to over 250,000 manuscripts, showcasing advanced scholarship in law, astronomy, and theology. Queen Amenarinas of Kush led armies against Rome in the 1st century BC and defeated Roman forces, forcing a treaty that preserved Kushite independence. The transatlantic slave trade, starting in the 16th century, forcibly transported around 12.5 million Africans to the Americas between 1500 and 1860. The majority came from West and Central Africa, including Angola, Nigeria, and Ghana. The Berlin Conference of 1884-1885 formalized European partition of Africa, and by 1914, only Ethiopia and Liberia remained independent. Most African states gained independence in the 1950s to 1970s, with Ghana being the first in 1957, followed by Nigeria in 1960 and Kenya in 1963. Ethiopia's victory at Odwa in 1896 against Italy was the only successful African resistance to European colonization in the 19th century, preserving its independence. Modern Africa is home to over 2,000 languages, with Swahili and Hausa being major regional languages. Many modern African governments blend traditional chieftaincy with democratic structures. Gold and diamond mining in South Africa, Ghana, and the Democratic Republic of Congo continues patterns of resource extraction from colonial times. The African diaspora, over 12.5 million strong in the Americas, shapes global culture, with African American ancestry tracing primarily to West and Central Africa. Modern Africa is 40% Christian and 20% Muslim, with significant indigenous religious practice. Controversies in African history include the complicity of African elites in the slave trade, the colonial divide and rule tactic that created artificial ethnic divisions, and the suppression of African achievements like the Great Zimbabwe Civilization, falsely attributed to Europeans until 1905. The Berlin Conference was held without African representation, and borders were drawn to suit European interests, ignoring ethnic and cultural realities. Systematic re-enslavement in the U.S. continued via convict leasing and forced labor until the 1940s. Africa's history is a testament to its enduring resilience and contribution to the global narrative.